Our next story is an unusual one for Fairgo in that we go into battle for a couple of Aussies who live in Aussie, but they've been over here visiting.
And not being paid $15,000 owed to them by an Auckland campervan dealer, well, it's likely to have left them with a pretty bad impression.
That's not helped by empty promises and a large bouncing cheque. But Gordon's been doing his bit for closer trans-Tasman relations.
Charlie and Hiroko Corcoran live a pleasant retirement in Cairns. Late last year they crossed the Tasman and went on a 4-month campervan odyssey all around our fine country. Great trip, eh? And they got a brilliant deal on that campervan. Had a few niggles with the refrigeration early on and the odd traffic jam, but otherwise it was sweet. They bought it here, RV Motorhome World in Otahuhu, South Auckland. They did what's called a buyback deal, paid 20 grand up front, but get 15 back if they return it in one piece. So they get 4 months touring for 5 grand. Great deal. Renting a van for that time, it cost 2-3 times that, even more. So, in late March, Charlie and Hiroko brought the van back to RV Motorhome World in Otahuhu. Mike Holt's the owner here. Charlie says he inspected the vehicle, said he was happy with it and that he'd transfer the money the next day. He even dropped them to the railway station. What a guy! And the Corcorans flew happily back to Cairns after a wonderful New Zealand holiday and lived happily ever after. Well, no they didn't of course, so why would they be on Fair Go? Now, remember I mentioned that buyback deal? They did what's called a buyback deal, paid 20 grand up front, but get 15 back if they return it in one piece. Here's the agreement for the buyback. The net payment to Charles Corcoran on 17 March 2008 will be $15,000. And there's Mike Holt's signature. So, Mike Holt owed Charlie Corcoran $15,000. And this is the amount he transferred to Charlie's account on 18 March. But don't worry, here's the personal cheque Mike Holt eventually gave a mate of Charlie and Hiroko's, and here's what happened to it. The bounced cheque was followed by a series of empty email promises. 26 March.
We'll be in there now. Sorry, went home sick yesterday.
1st of April.
It will be in your account tomorrow afternoon.
23rd of April.
It will be through Monday.
Oh, for goodness sake, I think we've had enough of that. You get the picture. Worthless promises, no money, and it gets worse. Once we got involved, Mike Holt suddenly found he did have the money. He paid some, but said he'd only pay the rest if we backed off.
Well, don't work that way, I'm afraid, Mike. You've had plenty of opportunity to sort this out on your own, so a bit late for our sympathy now. Especially not when it wasn't your money not to pay, if you see what I mean.
Now, eventually Mike Holt fronted up, fessed up and, most importantly, paid up. Mike, why was it that on at least 3 occasions you wrote an email to Charlie saying the money is there or is going to be when you know that wasn't true?
The intention was to put the money into Charlie's account on the day that we had agreed. And, you know, when it came to that time, there was not cleared funds in the account to put cleared funds into his account, and that unfortunately never eventuated. In hindsight, I should have contacted Charlie and said, hey, you know, we're just waiting for the funds to clear. It'll be through in a couple of days.
You must regret that pretty deeply now.
Very much so.
Why didn't you just say, look, Charlie, there's a bit of a problem with the money here. Can we hang on for a bit?
Pride. I didn't want to, you know, ring him and explain the situation that, you know, waiting for funds to clear, it might take a few days.
And
in hindsight, I should have done so.
What are you going to do to persuade future customers that you will deal with them straightly?
Oh, I apologise for the situation that's happened with Charlie. There was no intention when he bought the vehicle from us that we would not honour the agreement with him. We've got a couple more agreements to buy vehicles back from people, and we fully intend to fulfil those agreements.
At this point, we were going to say good on Mike Holt for doing the right thing, but Gordon, some new information emerged just today.
Yeah, a Pukekohe couple contacted us, Kevin, after seeing you mention it on the Good Morning programme. It turns out Mike Holt sold a campervan on their behalf last year and they had a few problems getting the money from him. They say he owed them $45,000 and they say it was the same story. No money, fudging, apologetic phone calls and so on. Eventually they got the money, but it took months, hundreds of dollars in legal fees and ultimately a very direct approach to Mr Holt. Now, I rang Mike Holt about this today, but he had nothing to say.
But Gordon, Mike Holt did end up paying more than Charlie was owed to Charlie?
Yeah, he actually paid over more than $2,500 extra. That was to compensate Charlie for money lost on the exchange rate while waiting to be paid. Now, that was actually quite a bit more than Charlie lost. So Charlie has made an extremely generous donation, and he joins us now via satellite from Cairns in sunny Queensland. Well, Charlie, first of all, I should ask, is the money actually there now?
Yes, surprise, surprise, it's been received and it's all here and safe, thank you.
That must be a relief.
Well, it was after having so many false promises, but
now,
we're quite satisfied now the money's here and safe.
You had a great holiday by the look of it, but this must have spoiled it a little.
Yeah, it did put a bit of a damper on it at the end. The holiday in New Zealand was great. After we got back and found the money wasn't there, that put a bit of a damper, but we put that behind us now.
And just finally, Charlie, you made a very generous offer to donate some of that money. What are you doing with it?
Yeah, we decided that thanks to your help we got this money. I think without your help we might have been still struggling, so we made a donation to the Myanmar appeal after the tidal wave there.
Well, that's a very, very generous offer, Charlie. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to help.
Everyone's a winner there. Well done, Gordon. But if there's anyone else out there who's having problems with Mike Holt of RV Motorhome World, then we'd be very interested to hear from you. And a lesson for traders, if you're in a hole, don't try and bullshit your way out.